Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaskin Point. Today we're trying the highest proof Stagg Junior ever released. This is a 146.6 proof Stagg Junior store pick. So I've done a few videos on Stagg and the history of Stagg already. In fact, I've actually done 2 videos on hazmat Staggs. One trying them and then a second talking about how a couple were actually stolen a few months ago. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. But today we're going to be trying the highest proof one ever released, a 146.6 proof pick out of California. Now, Stagg obviously starts with George T Stagg in 2002, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and in 2013 they start Stagg Junior. And sometime around 2019 they started doing Stagg Junior picks, and these are really hard to get. I mean, it's really difficult to get Stagg Junior in a store already. I mean, most, even big stores, are getting maybe only a few cases a year. So to get promised an entire barrel of Stagg Junior is a whole different question. And not only that, to get promised one that's actually hazmat, a whole nother question. And then to get one that's 146.6 proof, this is not an easy pick to come by at all. But interestingly enough, Stagg Junior store picks actually have incredible similarity in their proofs. So while I've never seen a 140.1, a 140.3, a 140.5 proof Stagg Junior store pick, I've seen about 6 of them that are 140.4 proof. I've seen many that are 142.2, 142.8. I've seen so many 137.9s, 138.6s, but I've never seen a 138.5. I've never seen a 139.0. And while it's possible that some of these picks do exist, there are only a few hundred that have ever existed, and the fact that there are so many that have the exact same proof is really interesting. And the reason why I bring that up is because there are actually 2 picks that are 146.6 proof, and today we're trying both of them. So there was a pick out of Liquor Barn in Kentucky, a very big chain store down there, and they got a 146.6 proof pick. And about 6 months later, a store in California got another Stagg Junior store pick that was 146.6 proof. So they're actually tied for first place, and second place, or third place, however you want to count it, is actually 144.2 proof. So 2.4 proof higher than the next highest Stagg Junior pick. These two are going to be a lot of fun. We're going to try them here today. And what's really fun about it is that George T Stagg, the highest proof is 2007 vintage at 144.8 proof. And so there are only 2 Stagg Junior picks that are higher than that. And they're this one and the Liquor Barn, and we're trying both of them here today. So let's get right into it. Now we're actually going to warm up our palate, funny enough, with a 137.9 proof Stagg pick. This is out of California Food Mart. This is actually a really fun pick. It's one of my favorite picks. A good buddy of mine named McHammer, or Michael, he gave me a sample of this pick when I saw him actually in Cleveland, Ohio at River Roots. For the first time I went to River Roots. That was a lot of fun. And so I'm really excited to get to try this here with you guys today. I've tried it a few times already. It's just absolutely delicious. Real grape vanilla forward. So let's get right into it here and see how it is, and then we'll get into the 2 hazmat picks, and then we're actually going to end off with some George T Stagg, because I'm really curious to see if they can actually compete with George T Stagg, because I think great Stagg picks can compete with worse George T Stagg years, and this is a 2024. It's really not a worse year, so I don't know if they'll compete, but I'm curious anyways. So I tossed it in, grabbed the bottle, and let's get right into it here. Like I said, this is the 137.9 proof pick. I've never seen a 137.8, but I've seen like 6 137.9s. Yeah, like I said, very grape forward here. Tons of caramel. Nice, rich oakiness to it. Some baking spices to this. You have your cinnamon, your nutmeg, stuff like that. It's very good. Let's take a sip. Oh yeah. Really coats the palate on this one. This is slightly oakier than I remember, but not in a bad way. It's actually drinking like it's a real, honest 8, 9, 10-year-old bourbon. And the Stagg picks do tend to be somewhere around 8 years old. So yeah, I mean, this is very, very solid here. I believe this pick is from 2022 or 2023. And a lot of people do think that the picks have gone downhill. And so maybe this is a little bit better than the picks that I've had that have released in 2024, 2025. And so it's definitely possible that this is slightly higher caliber than a lot of the picks that have released in the last year or two. And I mean, you could tell there's a real nice richness to this, really coats the palate on this. I mean, this to me is going to be better than any Stagg Junior batch, and I really like Stagg Junior batches, and in fact, if this video gets 100 likes, I am going to try every single Stagg Junior batch in a blind Yes, you heard that right. We're gonna do like 25, 27 samples. I actually have them all. I have gone through and collected a sample of every single Stagg Junior batch since Stagg Batch 1. I have the empty Stagg Batch 1 somewhere in the bottom of my shelves here. We're gonna go through, if this video gets 100 likes, I'm gonna finally do a blind trying every single batch together. We're gonna see who the true king of Stagg Junior is. If you guys wanna see that, definitely like the video. But back to this Stagg pick here. Very delicious. Let's take another sip. Yeah, really gonna get right around that mid-8s for me, 8.4. Real solid here. I mean, that's just very honest pour whiskey. I think it's beating my favorite Stagg batches just by a little bit. I think like a batch 12 or a batch 17 are going to be like 8.2, 8.3. So that being 8.4, it's slightly better, really coats the palate well. You really feel the proof really well on that one. And I will say there does tend to be a correlation with Stagg Junior when it comes to the proof and the quality. I have seen that I just tend to like higher proofs a lot more. This kind of breaks down at hazmat though, because I think some hazmat picks are just very clearly chosen because they're hazmat, and some of them aren't really very good. But anyways, let's go on here. This is the Liquor Barn 146.6 proof here. So I have a bottle of the MGA. This is the pick name. It's Make Bourbon Great Again. So maybe that's a MAGA reference there. No, it is a store in California, so that's interesting. But this is the Liquor Barn here. So this is the one in Kentucky. This was the first release, and these bottles trade on secondary markets for about $700 for both of them. So you're looking at a pour that's actually the exact same price as George T Stagg. So really the question here is it as good as George T Stagg? And we're going to throw in George T Stagg here and find out. And I was thinking about doing this as a blind, but I decided, you know, I have the full bottle here. Like, we can do further blinds with this in the future and stuff like that. If you guys want to see me blind something similar to this, definitely let me know. Maybe we can take like the winner of the Stagg blind of all the different batches, this, George T Stagg, and maybe some other really cool things from Buffalo Trace and blind those all together. That could be a lot of fun. But anyways, this is hot. Getting a little bit more red cherry on this one. Very oaky, vanilla forward, but it's actually pretty hard to look past the heat on this. 146.6 proof. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like red cherry, but the cherry is almost turning into like a red hot, like almost like a red tamale, those kinds of candy notes on it. And I don't think it's because there's actually that note in there. I think just the cherry note is so hot. It's like reminiscent of those things. Oh my god. And actually it hurts the nose to really smell that one a lot. Let's take a sip. Oh my god, it's hot. It's really good though. Very cherry forward. Definitely got a little bit of that like red tamale note on it that I don't get on a whole lot. And you know what? That's interesting. And it could just be the proof blending with the cherry to really give it that. But whatever it is, it's a really nice hot tamale note on there. I really do like the note on whiskey. It's a very rare note. I've gotten it on like Angel's Envy Cask Strength Rye. I've gotten it on, actually I've reviewed a Willet Purple Top 12 year recently that really had it all over. Very interesting note here. No, this is actually really, really good. Definitely doesn't drink the proof. I'll be honest, it smells hot, but it actually drinks closer to like 125 proof. But it really packs a good punch. This is really, really nice. Let's take a second sip. Wow. I really enjoy it. It's hot though. Like on the second sip, you know what? First sip drank like 125, that second sip drank like 135. So no, it starts getting pretty hot on that one. You can tell there's some serious proof in there, but it has this nice like red cherry, red hot tamale note on it. It has some really nice caramel, vanilla. It's a nice rich oakiness to it. Not a ton else going on. The finish isn't particularly long, but it's hot. But anyways, let's move on to the MGA pick. I mean, that must be a Trump reference. I mean, MAGA, MGA. There's an American flag on it, so that's funny. But, okay, this one is a bit more grape forward. And the fruitiness on it is much richer. It doesn't smell nearly as hot as the Liquor Barn pick. It's really nice. It's hot, it's oaky, it's caramel forward. There's definitely the baking spices on it. More grape than I get cherry. And the grape versus cherry Buffalo Trace debate is an interesting one. I actually more typically get cherry on Buffalo Trace, and so I actually associate with grape as being like a more rare note. But I know a lot of people say that grape is actually more basic Buffalo Trace note, and actually it's the cherry, the real rich cherry that they really want to get. And to be fair, cherry can get incredibly rich and decadent, and I think a lot of the like dusty Blanton's can really get into an incredible cherry note. They're not getting into grape notes. And because of this, my opinion has changed a bit, and I actually do tend to associate cherry with being a higher quality product now. It's interesting, I used to at least think that grape was, because it was more rare, to me at least, I thought it was higher quality. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments what you guys prefer. Do you prefer the grape that you get off of like a nice Eagle Rare, some Staggs, or you prefer that real strong cherry note? This is more grape though. Let's take a sip. Wow. That is the highest proof Stagg Junior on its name. It doesn't taste anywhere close to it. So, I'll be honest, the first sip of the other one did drink like 125 proof. This is drinking like 115. I mean, this is really surprising that it's 146 proof. I mean, man, you could almost kill half a bottle of that in a day, and I mean, you'd eventually feel it, I'm sure, but that's going down really easy. It still has that nice grape candy on it. It does have a nice vanilla on it. Some nice oakiness to it. I'm not sure if I'm liking it as much as the Liquor Barn, though. It's very good. It's more fruity, and I do really like fruity whiskeys. I love my Buffalo Trace. I'm a big fan. I've done a lot of videos on Buffalo Trace. I mean, I have a shelf that's pretty much all Buffalo Trace, excluding, I guess I have a couple of Willets now, and I added the Old Stubborn, so it used to be more Buffalo Trace, now it's less Buffalo Trace, but still love my Buffalo Trace. And you know, we have some more Buffalo Trace here. We had a Stagg here, an Elmer T. Lee here, some Wellers in the back, so I love my Buffalo Trace. This is really nice. Let's take a second sip. Okay, way hotter on the second sip. But really, it's like grape candy. It's like grape Kool-Aid almost. Like, it's really, really grape forward. But it's not that interesting, actually. Like, it's, even on the second sip, yeah, maybe it's drinking 125, 130 proof all of a sudden, but it's actually not totally blowing me away, which is a little bit disappointing. But, all right. Well, I'm going to go on to the George T Stagg. Then we're going to go back and rate these again. I think this was a nice baseline at an 8.4. And you know what? I don't really think it's totally losing out here. In fact, I may even like it more than the 146, but we'll come back to that. Let's go on to this George T Stagg. Oak is so much richer. I mean, just right off the nose. That oak richness, I mean, just the depth of it, the layers you're getting on that oak is incredibly impressive. I mean, you have a tannic oak to it, you have a sweet oak to it, more of like a vanilla oak to it. I mean, man, you get everything. And then you have that rich cherry. And you have the baking spices, and it smells hot. It smells like as hot as the second sample and much hotter than the first and third. Yeah, I like George T Stagg. Let's take a sip. Okay, question number 1. Are these worth $700 on secondary, and are they meaningful alternatives to George T Stagg? Your answer is no. George T Stagg is much better. That George T Stagg is just phenomenal. I mean, there's just more richness on it. When you add that extra 7 years, and you're looking at a 15-year spirit at basically the same proof. And maybe not the same proof. I mean, it is 10 proof lower, technically, than these two, but high proof, 15 years old. I mean, it's going to take the cake every day for me. Yeah, that to me is an 8.7. I mean, that's just a real staple at an 8.7 for me. It's just so good. In fact, you know what? I'm even going to say it's an 8.8. So rich, so decadent on that one. You get everything you want on a George T Stagg with that 2024. Like, it's an above average batch for me. I think it's really hitting the cherry, the oak, the spice. It has an incredible balance to it. I like it a lot more than 2023. I do know some people like 2023 more. Love to hear in the comments what you guys prefer. But yeah, that George T Stagg is just a totally different level. I'm going to rate that an 8.8. Let's go back to these two good old hazmats. It's hotter than the George T Stagg, actually, on the palate. Now that I've sat down and done the side-by-side, but it's way less complex. I mean, you're getting heat, but you're getting oak, and you're getting grape. It's just not particularly interesting. I still really like it, But I'm looking at this as, this is a bottle that's worth like $700. And to buy this bottle, actually, it was bundled. So it was sold, I think, at a value of like $150. But then you also had to buy like an Elijah Craig toasted barrel pick. And you also had to buy one of like the Corazon, like William Lou Weller finished tequilas that people say are just total garbage. And so you were looking at an out-the-door price of like $350 and two bottles that just, the Elijah Craig Toasted is pretty good. The tequila, I imagine not many people were too happy with that one. So, you're looking at a price of, let's say, $250 for it, even at the store. And for that, it's worth it, but I'm struggling to say that it's worth a lot more than that. I mean, it's a cool bottle. I love the novelty. I'm happy. I own the highest proof Stagg Junior that exists, and I'm proud of that. And, it'll be in the background here. It's actually been in the background for like 2 months, and I'm only finally getting around to doing a video on it. It's good, but okay. I'm go ahead and say that one is an 8.4 as well, but I'm actually going to revisit the first sample before I say which one I like more. But let's go on to this Liquor Barn here, which I think is better. Yeah, I mean, it's refined out, and it's like, it has that hot tamale note on it. And I think a lot of that is the proof, and it's really nice. Yeah, let's take a sip. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's more refined. To me, the oak structure makes more sense. It's more pleasant. You have a sweeter oak to it, but you also like that richness, the cherry candy on it. That's really nice. Now, that is actually a good bit better even. I actually, man... It's not George T Stagg, but you know what? It's impressive. And it's actually a good bit unique for Buffalo Trace here. Because I don't really get that hot tamale. I've never gotten that hot tamale note on anything on Buffalo Trace. And I think it's something weird about the cherry mixing in and that high proof that's giving me a note that I really love on it. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is an 8.6. I think this is a good bit better than the MGA, unfortunately. And that's the bottle that I have. So it's, disappointing. I was hoping my bottle would be the winner, but... no, it's at least third, might even be last. But, that's the game sometimes. Let's finish off this Liquor Barn here, because it's just so good here. I want to finish on camera with you guys. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Let's go back to this 137. Oh, man. It's not as hot as the 146, but it's still pretty hot. Okay, I actually like it slightly more than the MGA, but they're really close. So I'm going to rate them both an 8.4. I say that George T Stagg 2024 is an 8.8, and then this Stagg pick is an 8.6. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with these rankings here. I mean, we actually have a little bit left of George T Stagg. I'll finish that off camera, but, I love this bottle. I'm so happy I got this bottle, and... George T Stagg continues to win blinds. I mean, I hate to say that a bottle is worth $600 because, man, that's a lot of money to pay. But if you break it down as, it's like $25 per ounce of it, yeah, I poured like 3/4 of an ounce here. Would I pay $18 to have that again? I would. Like, it's really, really nice here. If you're looking for a bottle that really you want to treat yourself on a huge occasion, and look, I know $600 is a lot to pay on any bottle of whiskey, but if you're going to buy anything, buy a nice year of George T Stagg. I mean, really, you have a classic Kentucky bourbon. You have a classic Buffalo Trace. You have your first B tag. I mean, there's just so many reasons why I think if you're going to buy anything at the $600 price range, the first thing you should buy is a George T Stagg. Because, man, that is amazing. And I still see it a lot in Manhattan at right around secondary, around $600 MSRP. So I saw it once for $700 just this last week. I actually saw Thomas Handy for $400, which was interesting, which is also about secondary. So anyways, I hope you guys had fun here. These were the highest proof Stagg Junior picks. I can't imagine anybody has done a review comparing the two 146.6s. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We try to bring unique, fun reviews here to Cask and Point. And yeah, I would be surprised if anybody's done this comparison yet. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll catch you all in the next one.